Joining me are two people who spoke to the City Council about the new Barrio Logan Community Plan last night. Georgette Gomez with the Environmental Health Coalition, a backer of the plan that just passed, and Eric Buvold of National University's Institute for Policy Research, who wrote a report on the plan's potential economic impact on the maritime industry. Welcome.
Thank you.
Georgette, now your group has been working on air and environmental issues in the Barrio Logan for some time. What is the adoption of this plan do to address those issues?
Well, we are finally getting a plan that will create a zoning that separates all the uses, meaning residential, commercial, and the industrial. Currently, we have a plan that all of those uses are mixed. So this new plan that got adopted last night has separated those uses.
And specifically when it comes to health concerns that your group was looking into, proximity of homes next to shipyards and chemical storage areas, how would this plan address that situation?
Well, we currently have a plan, as I said, that it allows for industrial to be sited where the schools are at, where the multifamily is at. So we won't be, this new plan won't allow that anymore. We allocated a heavy industrial zone outside of the community. It's still part of the community boundaries, but it's away from where people live.
Where their houses are.
There are currently houses and commercial in that industrial zone, but the future there wouldn't be any housing nor commercial. It would be just industrial.
We're going to come back to that zone in just a minute, but I want to talk to you, Eric, about National University did a report on how this might impact the maritime community industry. What did you find out about the shipping industry as far as they're concerned?
Sure. So we found in our report that there were 80 subcontractors to the big shipyards that are located in Barrio Logan. We found that even under the proposal that the industry supported, 22 of them would be in zones where they would be deemed incompatible, which meant over time there'd be encouragement for those businesses to leave. Really what we're talking about is,
Let's go with that. So why would they be encouraged to leave with the new zoning?
Yeah, that there's a restriction on how much that they could expand or redevelop their property. There's an expansion in terms of the uses. If a tenant leaves and is vacant for more than 2 years, there's a challenge for moving a new tenant into that facility if they're outside of a zone that allows for heavy industrial or maritime distribution uses.
And there's a cost, right? There's a cost associated with getting an environmental report.
Yeah, and this 8-block buffer area that's really the source of contention. The industrial businesses that would be there that would seek to do some sort of, moderate to medium-sized expansion would have to go through a conditional use permit process, and that's a pretty expensive process. It's all those expenses are on the applicant and probably runs a minimum of $100,000 for the costs that would be incurred from the lawyers and consultants and so forth.
So some people may say they can't afford it. So Georgette, I'm sure some maritime workers live in the Barrio Logan. They're of course concerned about keeping their jobs as well. What do they have to say, or how are you addressing these concerns that some businesses might be leaving?
Well, we strongly believe that this new plan that got adopted is not going to impact the working waterfront at all. That was the reason we created a buffer to protect the working waterfront by not allowing residential to be sited there anymore, which was one of the main concerns. Now we have another concern that there's maritime-oriented needs. We tried to come up with the criteria of those maritime-oriented businesses. The shipyards wouldn't want to agree to a criteria, so that's the reason we left it at having a conditional use permit. It's not ideal, but that's what we ended up with.
So you disagree, thinking that jobs won't move out. Now, I understand that some of the ship industry leaders say that they may pursue putting this issue before the voters in a referendum. I'll ask both of you this. I'll start with you, Eric. Do you think that would be successful?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that San Diegans have been concerned for a long time about a barbell economy or an inability to sort of grow the middle class for blue-collar jobs in manufacturing. And I think that the issue is probably framed really that way. I do think that's a problem. I don't think that necessarily community plan should go to referendum, but I think on this issue, I think that it's going to be pretty clear to the voters of where things stand.
And Georgette, are you concerned if it goes to the voters?
Not concerned at all. I mean, the fact that we were able to get the adoption yesterday shows that the community plan has no impacts on the shipyards at all.
All right, Georgette Gomez and Eric Buvold, thank you so much for this update. I want to let folks know they can see the National University report and the City Council information for last night on the new community plan on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.